What's up everyone, Sean here, and welcome to my early review for the My Hero Academia 2 Heroes movie in English dub. Today I'm going to be doing it in this format, like a podcast sort of thing, just because I feel like I'll try to make this a quick review, but I may just sit down and talk about it and just ramble on and stuff like that for the movie. But reason why I'm able to make this video in the first place is because Funimation sent me an invite from, I think it was last Thursday now as I record this, but early screening for the movie in English dub. And you know, I thought I'll take a chance. I do like My Hero Academia enough to go out my way to see this early screening, and even if it's in English dub, I'll go see it because why not, you know? And thought I'd give it a shot. And by the end of it, in short word, I guess, I was really glad I was able to catch it. It was a pretty good anime movie for what it was, and this is the first one for My Hero Academia, which is a huge phenomenon for right now, for the Shonen Jump lineup. And it's part of the new big three, I guess, with One Piece, I believe Black Clover is the other, and of course My Hero Academia, or Boku no Hero Academia. But I guess for the really original fans anyway. But anyway, so yes, I saw this in English dub by yours truly at Funimation, and of course thank you to Funimation for giving me this opportunity for the early screening, so I can probably make this video in the first place. Now, for the sake of things, because I'm gonna release this early, I will not try to spoil things, and I will do my best to do so, and I'll try to condense it down just so that you can at least digest it without being spoiled and have your viewing pleasure in case this hits to the select theater in your area. This is a limited release. Once it comes out, this movie comes out on 25th, and all that fun stuff. But I'll repeat that by the end of the video. So let's get to the actual review of the video here. So yeah, early review. Here we go. So like I said before, I was really glad I was really able to go, and really glad I went because, like I said, the movie was good for what it was. Now, I will say this: it will start off like a very typical anime movie. You know, like usually in my head when it comes to anime movies of big shonen series, it goes like this. The main character goes to a new place. They see the new place. Whoa, new place looks cool. And then main character meets the new character for that movie, or new movie character. Hi, I'm the main character. Nice to meet you, movie character. And then later on, after they have some fun, there's a new villain. Here comes the new villain. He's somewhere, and he's plotting something, right? And then new villain comes along, overpowers a lot of the main characters for a moment, and just to show off what the villain can do. And then the main characters, you know, come up with a plan. They try to do something, and then eventually, after a big battle, usually they do some sort of elaborate plan, and they overpower the villain's crew, and then eventually the main villain himself, after a big, huge, animated, visual eye candy fest, you know, whatever. You get the point. So it does follow a pretty standard formula for the movie, just for the most part. And so if you guys, you know what you're getting yourself into, this is a pretty, this still will be at least a pretty decent movie. The formula is like pretty set. So if you guys are expecting something deep, it's not really there. to be honest. Like, it's just very straightforward. You know how it's gonna go, and it doesn't feel like a long episode. Well, that's just the nature of these anime series. No matter how hard you try to make into a movie, it just feels like a long anime episode. But there are some perks that come with that when it comes to anime movies. They get a bigger budget for that one time, so that way the animated fight scenes are a lot better, and there is no exception here. And especially by the end of it, I think it's you're really trying to build yourself to the final battle. And the final battle, for in comparison to a lot of the final battles, are really good. The battle in this, or the fight, excuse me, in this movie, it was just absolutely mind blowing. It all builds up to that, I feel, and it does have one twist. I will not say it just for the sake of this review. It's an early review, so you guys can still be surprised and stuff. There is one interesting little twist, I guess, but for a lot, maybe for a lot of you who would go see this, will find it predictable, and you kind of get an idea who or what the twist involves with, right? So you kind of get an idea, and this, and then it eventually leads to other twists, and it kind of all makes the movie make sense. Like, as I was watching this movie, I'm like, is this really how it's gonna end? But then, yeah, you know, that twist comes along. I'm like, oh, okay, so, you know, that happened, and then this happens, and that happens. It kind of creates sort of this chain reaction, and it's interesting, I will say, but it does lead to that big final fight, and it's so well animated, and Bones just really nailed it with the animation on that part, really, especially on that part. They did a really good job on it. It was actually really cool to see. I got goosebumps in the theater. I didn't say anything because I'm not really like a loud viewer by any means, but I definitely got the goosebumps. So that's, you know, that should tell you something. So there are very rare occasions where I get excited about something. I think the one and only thing I can remember is with the end of the King Kong film from Legendary Pictures, or Legendary Films, where they show off, spoiler alert, the wall paintings and stuff for Godzilla, with meaning, oh, he's gonna fight Godzilla eventually, right? For the legendary film or slash picture, King Kong versus Godzilla fight, right? Maybe along with Pacific Rim, who knows? Anyways, back onto My Hero Academia as I digress. Excuse me. So, they did a really good job on that, and it ends just really well. It's just, but although I felt like the ending itself was a little abrupt, but at that point you don't really care. You got to see a really cool fight, so you wouldn't care too much about it. It's a movie anyway for anime, so it winds up being either canon or just very semi-canon, or canon in few areas, right? For those who haven't seen or who've seen the anime series that's, you know, airing on television and all that stuff, or Crunchyroll, you do get to see the movie character at least once before, you know, it goes on to the newer episodes. So it kind of maybe gives you, you know, something to go off of, and it tells you, yeah, you know, it's kind of canon. I mean, even whether it's canon or not, it would fit anyway. It's a very straightforward kind of story, so it could fit, and it doesn't have to fit. That's kind of the point what I'm trying to say here. It's an anime movie anyway, so by the end of it, you're just not gonna really care too much, other than, wow, that was a really cool fight scene. So that's how I felt about it. You know, as I came out of that theater, and so yeah, the fight scenes were cool. Good amount of characters made in there. I mean, I would love to see more, but you get the idea. The good amount of characters made it in there. You wish you kind of see some of the rest of the popular characters, but yeah, at least you get to see some of them, right? A good handful of them, and they do their roles. They actually do their thing. Even Minata, or Grape Juice, I believe that's his alter ego or his superhero name. Grape Juice is in there as well. I guess he's one of those like very memorable characters just because he's small. He's got the sticky grape balls or whatever, and he's a pervert. And he's very perverted. He's all about the ladies and blah blah blah. So he's there, and of course you gotta have Bakugo. You got Kirishima, Tenya, of course, or Ida. Chaco's in there, Momo's in there, Kyoka's in there too, and I think that's pretty much like the main cast for that movie anyway. And of course, you gotta have All Might, and this definitely does highlight a lot of All Might. So for those who are big fans of All Might, this is definitely the film for you guys. It's pretty cool. There were some of the other cool fight scenes in the beginning of the film too, with All Might, him being young and stuff. That's those are some really interesting parts. It's just kind of weird to see him without the black shadow over his eyes. You know how he looks, currently versus his young look. If you get to see that, or if you get to kind of picture that in your head, you're just gonna be like, whoa, especially if you guys haven't seen that already just yet. But yeah, it's a very noticeable change. And then so yeah, you get to see a good I believe All Might really shines in here, especially after seeing what happens to him in the later anime series. Like, oh man. But anyways, I don't want to go into too much. I want to keep it as spoiler free as possible. Now, I guess the music was okay. I think it was just kind of there. It's like how movies do it for me. It's like it's just kind of just there for a lot of movies. You know what I mean? It just fills in the rest of the gaps, and it did a job. So the music, I guess you can say it's good. The movie theme for it was all right. It was pretty good. It's like maybe I'll put that in my playlist for whenever I have it on random or something, or shuffle. It's another good song, I guess. You can definitely listen to it. It's kind of just there at that point. Now I guess we can talk about some of the important elements, which is the movie characters. There was Melissa Shield and David Shield. They're like the big main characters being pushed in this movie. I thought overall they're good. I didn't really hate them by any means. They were definitely there. They had definitely fit into the story and did their roles and all that stuff. They're good for the story. I think that's what we can come across here, or what I can come across for these characters. And of course, Melissa has to look like what she is with that, perfect figure. A little more on the bigger side, you know what I mean, and she is definitely on the full side, you know what I mean. And but other than that, her character design is, it fits her personality. She's like the genius. She, I think they've said in the trailer, but she is completely human. She has no powers or anything like that, but she makes up for it for her genius. She's smart, like they have a shield and stuff like that. So there were some couple of other characters in the movie as well, but definitely these two are the main new movie characters that were being pushed, and I like them. There's nothing for me to complain about. I feel at least I feel at least indifferent with them, but I'm not like, they didn't win my heart by any means, but they're there, they did their story, and I'm like, okay, cool. Definitely Melissa's like, very hardworking. She's willing to, help out the team, even though she doesn't have any powers. I mean, she has some use. She wants to be useful, blah, blah, blah. So, kudos to her for being brave and all that stuff. So, at least she has those kind of qualities. Now, otherwise, though, it could come off as cliche, kind of paper cutout kind of thing. Maybe some people may say that. She doesn't really have any anything outlandish. She doesn't have anything that really sticks out like a sore thumb by any means, other than being fascinated by students from UA just because she never really was ever outside the island that she resided in for a very long time with her dad, David Shield. So it makes sense as to why she acts that way, and but it's still within very normal realm. She's not very comical by any means. She's not very cheesy. She's pretty vanilla. Maybe like a little tad more on the vanilla bean side or something, but otherwise she's pretty vanilla. She's kind of like the straight man, very kind-hearted, like an angel kind of thing. Very, again, just willing to help out for for whatever. But yeah, at least with that though, she is likable in that sense, and I was okay with her again. David though was a little more interesting, I guess. He definitely has some stuff going on internally, which I will leave that at that. So, he was the sidekick for All Might during his early days, and they had a scene in California apparently, which I gotta say looks like Las Vegas, but that's just Japanese people kind of quote unquote stereotyping American states. You know what I mean? Kind of like how we sort of view Japan, like kind of we stereotype, certain areas of Japan, and we're just like, oh, that's what Japan looks like, right? I think maybe that's like how they view the United States. It kind of looks like Vegas to them apparently, or at least to the author or the designers anyway of the movie. Anyway, David Shield, he was definitely a little more interesting. There was more character-driven stuff going on around him, and for whatever reasons he had, it makes sense, but it may be split between people. But I feel it lined up good enough for me, so I'm like, all right, I let that pass. Now, of course, there is the villain. We gotta always have a movie exclusive villain, and this guy was, I gotta really say, there's not really much to him. He's just a villain. This time around, there's not much really going on with him, unfortunately. I love villains in movies, and they really didn't, push him as much with Melissa and David. So I wish there was something going on, but I think, it's one of those things where it's not about him, David Shield and Melissa, but it's just only, All Might, and of course, Izuku, and then, or Midoriya, or Deku, whatever you want to call him, and Melissa, of course. It's just probably those four at the most. The villain was just there just for the sake of being a villain, but pretty cool, I guess. Don't want to go into that too much. So, overall, I guess is really much it. Other than the English voice acting, but I will leave that to the end. The story was, like I said, very standard. It starts out very standard, and then by the end of it, it really sets off a lot of dominoes, or it just sets off its chain reaction. So it's a little more interesting than your typical shonen anime movie. The one of the last ones I saw or seen was Fairy Tail Dragon Cry, and that one's very much a cutout cardboard anime shonen anime movie, right? And it pretty much follows the formula, kind of like I said earlier, with main character meets new character. Main character gets overpowered by the villains to show off how powerful the villains are, or badass, or whatever, how evil the villains are in this movie. And then they come up with a plan, and then they overpower the villains one by one, and eventually final battle with the main villain or final boss, whatever. Excuse me, final boss or whatever. So, but, at least with this, it's a little more interesting. It does take a step up a little bit, but otherwise, maybe some of you will find it predictable and still feel like, okay, it's still like a pretty standard anime movie. But with the things they had were higher quality. So the animation was good. The fight scenes were really good. And just the way a lot of the fights flow was really good. So I feel like the fight scenes are like the highlights of this movie. So the action is good. It's fantastic overall. Now this is the English dub, so I gotta talk about that. So lastly, this is by Funimation, and overall they did the job done. They did a good job for Midoriya. I feel like they captured his voice and character mostly. Bakugo, you can't go wrong with him. He's just, angry and stuff like that. They do get his anger down. So good job on that. A lot of newer people. There's not a whole lot of like the veteran Funimation voice actors other than Christopher Sabat as All Might. And I feel like Sabat was a good choice, has been a good choice for All Might, since I haven't seen the anime series in dub or anime dub. English dub, excuse me. But this is my first time actually really seeing this in full, like a really full length like anime movie with English dub for My Hero Academia in general. Like I never really hear a full episode or anything like that in English, so this was an experience for me. Ida was very straightforward too. Michael Tatum did a pretty good job with him, right? But I gotta commend to Midoriya. I feel like it's a little harder for him to get captured in English when it comes to voicing, and the actor did a pretty good job. I really would like to commend him as someone who pays respect to voice actors and stuff like that more than some other people. And I give credit where it's due. So I forgot. I forgive me for not looking up the name for Midoriya's English voice actor, but he really did a good job just capturing most of the character, or at least getting the basics of Midoriya down. Now, I can't really say the same for Minata. Minata has this like nasally lisp sort of thing going on, and I really can't get past that. It's just such a weird choice. Now, I don't like the character already, to be honest. He's a pervert, but he's not a good pervert character to love. Sanji is such a lovable, perverted character. I mean, he cooks and all, but like, he's got so much more to like than Minata. Now, Minata does good. He does pull through as a hero, right? But I just can't come around to like him like I do with a lot of characters in My Hero. He's just, I don't know. I just don't get good vibes from him. I get it. I get his character and all, but it just doesn't come off as likable for me. I just can't. So that's just my personal take on it. And his English voice only makes it really weird, to be honest. Momo is Luffy to me, because it's Colleen Clickenbeard, I think that's how you pronounce her last name. Forgive me for butchering it. I hear Luffy in her. It's just really weird, but also a blend of Urza. Urza does that too, that scream, whenever she attacks, Luffy and Urza and Momo got all that, like, that voice when they fight, So yeah, it's just kind of weird. Cool, but weird at the same time. But not gonna bang on her too much. She is definitely a good choice for Momo, so good job on that. Kyoka, pretty good. That's all I gotta say. Not much to it. She is pretty cute in the movie, though. I mean, when she puts on the dress for, what is it, like the big ball or something, or whatever, the party event, whatever. Melissa is all right. Again, she kind of fits her vanilla nature, and not saying that vanilla is a bad flavor. It's a flavor, right? It's not plain, completely plain. It's something, but it is very forward. You know what you're getting yourself into. You know what this character is, where she's coming from, or he or she is coming from, that kind of thing. But yeah, but anyways, the voice fits, and I was okay with it. Always said something about All Might, good choice on him. David Shield, pretty straightforward choice. Villain, the villain was alright. I forgot his name honestly, and he's not super memorable, like I said, other than there are you will remember him by other things, but I just he doesn't have he doesn't have too much charm to him. He's no Joker by any means, no Crocodile or Mrs. Zero or like trying to name another villain from another series. He's definitely no Stain. He's definitely not Stain within My Hero Academia or All in One or anything like that. All for One, excuse me. All in One. I keep calling him that, but it still makes sense, right? Anyways, this guy is not too memorable, and his voice is like, again, it's like another straightforward choice. Not bad, but it's like, okay, you kind of get it. Kirishima, and there's Denki, of course. You all have pretty straightforward choices too. But yeah, other than that, there's not really too much to comment on. I gotta say though, the assistant for David Shield, man, it's just, I got very weird vibes from him. I don't know if it's the voice or his character or something, but man, it's just this awkward vibe, and people were kind of they were very apparent with that too. I can hear the reaction in the theater, like they kind of gave this like very awkward like kind of laugh or reaction around me, and I can feel it. I can feel that from this character too. Of course, I won't say why, just for the sake of it, but you'll know what I'm talking about once you go see this movie. And trying to think of anything else. No, not a whole lot. That's pretty much it. I definitely covered all the important bits of it. So this is kind of an early impression kind of thing. But I will say this. I will definitely like to see this in Japanese once it's out or available anywhere. Oh, excuse me, everywhere else. And overall, like again, like I gotta say, does follow like a standard anime movie, but it does bring something else to the table, and it's enough for me to say, wow, this was really cool. I was really glad I made it out here. I drove to LA to go see this because I hate driving to LA. I hate the parking, but this movie definitely made that worth the trip or the trouble. And again, Funimation, thank you so much for the opportunity. I would love to see more stuff from you guys. And you guys overall, I gotta say, definitely nailed the dubbing. I will give credit where it's due, even though I am a Japanese voice kind of guy or Japanese dub kind of guy, to be honest. And I think if you guys know me, it's pretty obvious, right, as to why I go for Japanese voices. But I do give respect to the English voice actors for trying, and they pulled it off for the most part, and given the roles and stuff like that. And again, kudos to them. So the Funimation dub of My Hero Academia movie Two Heroes, what would I give it for a score? Like I said, it follows a very standard anime movie formula, but it one-ups one thing, which is the fight scenes, especially the final battle. I think you guys should definitely sit around for that. And there is stuff by the end of it, I think. So stick around for that. So what would I give it for a score? Again, as I said before, very standard movie, but it's a +1 for a standard movie. So I would give this actually a solid 8 out of 10. A very straightforward story. There's nothing really much to it. Like, it's not too deep. It's pretty easy to follow. As All Might is meeting up with David Shield for a convention of like for heroes and stuff like that, for technology and stuff. And Midoriya tags along because, you know, he was a +1 essentially, and students were invited for various reasons, and stuff happens essentially. So yeah, very standard formula, very standard story, but the fight scenes are definitely worth the watch. So that's where it kind of gives that +1 for the score. Otherwise, I would give it a 7, just because it's a pretty good movie on its own, but the fight scenes are really good, I gotta say. So again, this will be out on the 25th of September in select theaters, and it'll last for like a couple days or something like that. So check up on Funimation.com for more information to see what theaters it's showing, and hopefully it's available in your guys' area. So hopefully, you know, good luck on that. And so yeah, if you guys have the movie in your area, it's definitely worth the watch. Especially if you guys are big fans of the My Hero series, it's definitely worth the watch. It very much conveys the hype moments and stuff like that. It conveys All Might. It conveys Deku and all that fun stuff. So it's definitely a welcoming new series for the Jump series. I would love to, you know, see more from it. I know there's a video game coming out for it. I know there's more to it, of course. The manga is fantastic. I would love to see more from it, just in general. So maybe we'll definitely see more movies for it. Just seeing how popular it is. If One Piece has like over 20 movies or something like that, or definitely at least 10, right? So if One Piece gets that many movies, I'm pretty sure My Hero Academia will get more movies around that number, maybe even more. We'll see. So that's pretty much it for my review. Again, it's an 8 out of 10, and I give it my recommendation, 2 thumbs up, and all that fun stuff. So without spoiling things, so go see it for yourself. There's not really a whole much to it when it comes to the story, so that's why there's only like one big spoiler, which sets off other spoilers. So that's all there is to it. Anyways, if you have any comments or anything like that, leave it down below. If you have any questions or anything like that, leave it down below. And again, this is an early review and stuff like that, so I won't talk about spoilers as I would like to, but it's up. I'll leave that for you guys. If you have any comments, again, leave it down below. Thumbs up for the video if you guys liked it, and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. I know usually I do the green screen and stuff like that, but it actually went on for 30 minutes, but I don't know, that's just how I am. So if I were able to talk about spoilers, I would have done a full review about it. But anyway, if you guys, you know, would like to, you know, support the channel further, you can check out the Loot Crate stuff and Into the AM stuff, all in the description below. All the links are there. The promo codes are there if you want to save 10% on whatever and stuff like that. And just check out everything else in the description below. It, you know, further supports the channel and stuff like that. If you guys want to take the time, really appreciate it, guys, if you do so. And again, this has been my early review on My Hero Academia 2 Heroes, the movie, and in Funimation dub, if I haven't said it already. So again, Funimation, thank you so much. I'd like to see more from you guys. But until then, for you guys, viewers, I'll see you in the next video. On out.